Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's class is going to be a very fun class, and so will the next few classes. So today's topic is going to be about basic shapes, and this is part 1 of triangles. So basically, I will just kind of be splitting my basic shapes series into 5 parts, just because there's so many shapes and like things to cover in these series. So yeah, this triangles part is going to be split into 2 parts just because there is a lot of triangles to cover. If you guys have any questions, just make sure to leave them down below in the comments so I can answer. Any corrections will be appreciated, and I will leave them in a pinned comment below. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's go. So starting off the lesson, we will be covering 3 basic types of triangles. And the triangles we're going to be covering today are equilateral triangles, isosceles triangles, and scalene triangles. Here are just some basic definitions that you guys will need to know that are like literally essential for this type of stuff. Here we have, what is a polygon? A polygon is a 2-dimensional plane figure formed by 3 or more straight lines, and these 3 or more straight lines can all be called sides. So next, what is a triangle? Very important. So a triangle is another 2-dimensional 3-sided polygon. So it has the minimum amount of lines. So yeah, and also it is formed by 3 lines and 3 vertices. So there are also 3 angles in the triangle, and these angles all put together will add up to 180 degrees. So as you guys saw in the triangle definition, I did mention vertices. So what are vertices? So in plural form, they're called vertices, but in singular form, they're called a vertex, which is just, a singular version of vertices. And it is a point where 2 or more lines or edges meet or intersect. And then finally, what does congruent mean? Congruent means to be exactly the same length / measure of like another measurement, kind of. You guys will see that later on in this lesson, but it may seem a little bit confusing, but it's okay. I will go over this. So here are just some video suggestions I have in case you guys are a little bit like confused about what I just said. If you guys don't know what a plane is, go watch my planes video. This also has like intersections and stuff, so it's very, very, very useful to know. If you guys don't know what lines are, definitely go watch this video, the lines video. I had a whole video dedicated to that. And then finally, if you guys don't know what points are, then go watch this video. I do not cover vertices in this video, the points video, but I cover what like a point is. So that's very important to know. So go check those out. Those will be down in my description below. So here we have some, just like basic definitions about these 3 types of triangles I'm going to cover in today's lesson. So first we have the equilateral triangle. So an equilateral triangle is a triangle with 3 congruent sides and 3 equal angles. And I will show you guys what like those angles are. So an isosceles triangle is a triangle with only 2 congruent sides and 2 equal base angles. And then finally, a scalene triangle is a triangle with no congruent sides, meaning 0 congruent sides and 0 equal angles. So going up to here, we have some examples of every single one of the triangles. So first, I will go over equilateral triangles. So this is just an example of an equilateral triangle. Not all will look like this, but all will look something like this. So these mark, as you guys see, there's like a triangle, and I did some kind of little thing right here. This kind of marks congruent angles. This little arch right here. And then also these like little like slits kind of on the side of on like each side of the triangles represent that 2 or more lengths in the triangle are congruent. So as you guys can see, there are 3 little lines, meaning that all 3 sides of the triangle are going to be equal. And also, there are some little arcs right here. And as I said, these symbols, these little arcs mark that 2 or more angles are equal. Yeah. So some things to note about equilateral triangles is all angles are 60 degrees. Because if you guys didn't know, 60 times 3 is 180. If you didn't know that, that's okay. But like, it's very important to note all triangles have 3 angles, and those 3 angles always have to equal up to 180. Like, no exception about it. So, and then finally, all sides of the triangle are equal, are congruent. They must be, or else it's not equilateral. It might be isosceles or it might be scalene, but it's not equilateral if not all the sides are equal in length. So if you guys need more clarification, just ask me down below. I'll very happily explain it to you. Next up, we have isosceles triangles. So as you guys can see, there's like basically another triangle. However, there are only 2 little lines and 2 arcs. And these arcs are what are considered base angles, because this is technically considered the base of the base of the triangle, meaning that these 2 are base angles and they are the only angles in the triangle that will be congruent. The top one will not be congruent. So yeah, and also you guys can see there are only 2 lines instead of 3. So these 2 sides, this one and this one, are congruent. However, this bottom one is not congruent. And once again, the whole triangle's angles will add up to 180. However, unlike the equilateral triangle, there's not really like always going to be a way that you can tell which, like, the measure of the base angles. So it's not always going to be 60 or something. It'll change, but these 2 bottom angles will always be the same, just different from the top. Finally, we have scalene triangles. So as you guys can see, no angle markings, no side markings, meaning none of the angles are equal and none of the sides are congruent. So this is definitely a pretty common triangle that you see, and yeah, you can just very easily tell because no angles, no sides markings, then it's just scalene. I hope I was able to explain everything somewhat okay. And now we will be moving on to the quiz. So let's go. We are going to have 4 questions this time. The first question is, the question you have to answer is this triangle that I drew an equilateral triangle? Is it an isosceles triangle? Or is it a scalene triangle? There are the 3 choices here. So I will give you guys 3 seconds to kind of figure that out. If you guys need more time, just remember to pause the video. But yeah, 3 seconds. Done. So the answer was, there's only one answer, and the answer is, this is a scalene triangle. Why? Because once again, no side markings and no angle markings. It's just kind of like a plain triangle, meaning it's not equilateral and also it's not isosceles. So it's just scalene. So now we have this question. This is another 1 answer question. So this question is, which triangle has no congruent sides? What I mean by that is, which of the triangles is the triangle that has no congruent sides? Is it the equilateral triangle that has no congruent sides? Is it the isosceles triangle that has no congruent sides? Or is it the scalene triangle that has no congruent sides? Once again, I'll give you guys 3 seconds. Done. The answer to this question was once again scalene. If you guys were paying attention, equilateral has to have three pairs of congruent sides. Every single side has to be congruent, or else it's not equilateral. Isosceles only has to have two congruent sides. If it doesn't have any congruent sides, it's not isosceles. So the answer is scalene, because once again, scalene has no congruent angles and no congruent sides. The third question is, what kind of triangle is this triangle that I drew? I gave you guys the three choices, so I will give you guys another 3 seconds to try and determine which kind of triangle this is. Done. The answer was not actually scalene, it was equilateral. You guys can tell because there are the 3 markings on every side, as well as the 3 angles, meaning you can definitely assume that it's equilateral, because it is equilateral because of the sides and the angles. Next, we have the 4th question, and I believe the last one. So this last question is, what kind of triangle only has 2 angles? Kind of going back to the second question, it's kind of the same thing, but which of these triangles only has 2 equal angles? Not 3, not none, but 2. I'll give you guys 3 seconds. Done. So the answer was not equilateral, not scalene, but isosceles. So I think that kind of concludes the test. And yeah, let me know how you guys did. Hopefully you guys got every question right, got a 4 out of 4, 100%. If you guys didn't, then, I mean, that's okay, honestly. I'm assuming that if you're watching this, then you're probably like a very beginner at this. And that's okay, because I don't expect beginners to learn like everything at once. And if you guys need to rewatch the video a couple of times, then definitely do that, because it will definitely help you. And if I didn't explain something clearly enough, then just ask me down below or something, and I will definitely inform you. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Make sure to give it a like, comment down below any like comments that you have. Make sure to subscribe to my channel as well, and go check out my social media, my Twitter and my Instagram, which will be on the screen, to be updated whenever I post. You guys can just like ask me any like questions if you guys need to. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys next week with a brand new video. Bye.